tonight, a major clean-up underway after a mini tornado ripped through SNOWTOWN, and parts of the Eyre Peninsula also had a wet and wild start to summer, with the Weather Bureau warning it's just a taste of what's to come.
This is Southern Cross News with Abby Donaldson.
Good evening, great to be back with you. A mini tornado tore through SNOWTOWN at the weekend, causing catastrophic damage to a number of homes and public spaces. The roof of the town's new sporting precinct was ripped off by damaging winds just 1 week after its grand opening.
There was no mercy for SNOWTOWN, with the heavens opening up, delivering a once-in-a-generation superstorm. Dubbed a mini tornado, the town was lashed by 150-kilometre winds that severely damaged buildings and cut down trees. The violent storm lasted only 15 minutes, with residents reeling from the harrowing experience.
It's a bit surreal. You just think it's such a shame. You know, everything's so pretty and then it's just a mess.
It was a tragic start to the summer for the SNOWTOWN Blythe Football Club. Its recently developed state-of-the-art facility pulled apart by the storm.
You know, 1 week ago we had the place immaculate, and a lot of volunteer hours had gone into just making it look pretty special for the opening last Saturday. And then, 7 days later, obviously, here we are with half the roof missing.
The roof of its main sporting facility thrown across the football oval, exposing the recently renovated interior to the torrential downpour.
The feeling is that for the intensity of the wind, people are a little bit surprised that there's not more damage.
Clean-up efforts are expected to take several days, and it's still not known how much the damages will cost the town. In SNOWTOWN, Dominic Beaton, Southern Cross News.
Meanwhile, parts of the Eyre Peninsula also had a rough start to summer, with wet and wild weather hitting the coast. It could be a taste of what's to come, with the Bureau of Meteorology predicting a wetter than average month for the region.
The new season started with a bang. A thick band of storms lashed the state on day one of summer, bringing with it some rain and a spectacular lightning show. While much of the state is predicted to be warmer than usual, the West Coast might need to get used to some extra rainfall.
The exception is the Eyre Peninsula. In December, we actually are looking at increased odds of above normal rainfall there. So hopefully a bit more rain for the Eyre Peninsula.
But as for other regions across the state, you can expect the mercury to soar.
Well, temperatures are certainly looking very warm, so the odds are up around the 80% mark of having above average daytime and nighttime temperatures as well. A little less towards the coast, but everywhere's looking pretty warm for summer.
So you might want to pack your bathers and head for the beach in the coming months. But looking further ahead, there's a high chance of an El Niño forming into the new year.
If that does occur, it tends to keep that rainfall sort of to average at best, at least over the summer and into autumn.
Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
2 Port Pirie residents are lucky to be alive after a fire tore through their house in Risdon Park. The Dowling Street property was completely destroyed by the blaze early Saturday morning, with police and MFS fire investigators treating the blaze as suspicious.
Both occupants managed to escape the blaze uninjured. However, the property was completely destroyed, causing about $200,000 damage.
The 2 residents were unable to exit the building from the front of the house and were forced to climb over the back fence to escape the flames. The investigation continues, with police calling on the public for help. Anyone with information about the fire is urged to contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. A Port Lincoln woman has been caught behind the wheel almost 5 times over the blood alcohol limit. Just after midday on Friday, patrol stopped a white Subaru sedan on Dublin Street. The random breath test allegedly saw the woman produce a blood alcohol reading of 0.23. The 47-year-old lost her licence immediately for 12 months and had her vehicle impounded. She'll appear in court at a later date. Meantime, Broken Hill locals who risk driving under the influence of alcohol now face stronger penalties. Tough new deterrents are being enforced across all of New South Wales, with a strong focus on middle-range drink drivers.
Despite the warnings, campaigns and police efforts, some people still think drink driving is okay.
The last thing we want to do is pass on at Christmas time the sad notice to someone that's been seriously injured or killed.
Under the new laws, which came into effect this week, drink drivers caught in the mid-range will now be disqualified for 3 months. Additionally, they will have an alcohol interlock system installed into their car for a year.
That is, as a device, as you can't start the vehicle if the device detects the presence of alcohol.
For drivers with a blood alcohol reading of 0.08, the risk of crashing is around 4 times that of a driver who has not been drinking. This increases to at least 12 times by 0.15. The interlock system already applies to high range and repeat offenders, with police welcoming mid-range drivers into the fold. 55 people have lost their lives in alcohol-related crashes this year, police also recording over 6,000 mid-range first offences. The new laws also give police the power to take away your number plates or your vehicle on the spot if you are a repeat or high-risk drink driver.
So they're very strong powers. End of the day, we don't want to have to use those powers. We want the message to get out. If you drink, don't drive.
Patrick Ryanke, Southern Cross News.
Well, it's an early Christmas present for some as petrol prices have plunged across the state, but for Port Augusta motorists, they've been left fuming at the consistently high prices in the town. Many believe it's a marketing ploy by fuel companies to maximise their profits.
Across the region, many motorists have felt refuge from a horror 6 months at the Bowsers, but not in Port Augusta, where prices are still as high as ever.
It's shocking, mate.
Never comes down, always going up. We all feel about the same. We're being ripped off something shockingly.
The average price at service stations in the town is $1.54, compared with $1.43 in Whyalla, and reports as low as $1.17 in Port Pirie.
If they can do it for down there for $1.20, why can't we do it here?
They're just absolute thieves.
The state's peak motor body says international factors and transport costs to regional areas can affect changes in price. However, in Port Augusta, lack of competition might be causing the high cost.
Any gap in those prices in between regions is really about the dynamic of the market.
The RAA hopes the state government will soon deliver on their commitment to introduce mandatory real-time pricing for fuel companies, allowing motorists to view prices all around the state.
The time has come for that sort of information well and truly to be in the public domain so consumers can make use of their market power.
With Port Augusta's prices not expected to drop anytime soon, the RAA says drivers can do their bit to drive down the price.
Look for the cheapest price in town, even if it's only a cent. If you change your behaviour, there's some chance of changing the behaviour of oil companies.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, just in time for summer, Port Pirie's much-awaited aquatic and leisure centre opens its doors. Welcome back. Port Pirie's Aquatic and Leisure Centre is ready to make a splash with its doors opening to the public today. Part of the town's $24 million sports hub, the facility also features a gymnastics area and the celebrated return of the Port Pirie Squash Club. Locals will be able to escape the heat later this week with the opening of the indoor pool and splash fun park for the kids.
We can attract more people to come and play, because we're hoping to plan to start a new season next year when school starts next year.
The centre is open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. weekdays and 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on weekends. The second annual Perfect Light Film Festival has been marred by less than perfect weather. As the event got underway, a dust storm hit Broken Hill, which was soon followed by an unexpected downpour.
It was all going so well.
It was pretty unfortunate that it decided to rain right when all these great films were screening.
Hot on the heels of the city's Christmas pageant, the Perfect Light Film Festival got underway in Sturt Park. A crowd of nearly 300 relaxing on the grass to watch short films from some of Australia's and the world's best filmmakers.
We're really happy with the fact that it's impacting on tourism and local businesses, while supporting local filmmakers as well. We've got a couple of great films, local entries in the finals this year, and so we're really excited to see what the eventual turnout is and what the outcome is.
The outcome was an unfortunate one after wild weather soured the festivities. Just before the festival got underway, a dust storm ripped through the park. Given that they happen every second week, the locals in attendance stayed put and rode it out. However, shortly into the showing of the festival's finalists, the rain came and sent many home. Those left welcomed into the VIP tent to keep watching.
It was really great to see everyone, have a chance to get out of the rain and stick with it and see the films run.
Jordan Land won the Emerging Filmmaker Filmmaker Award, with local Shivali Lloyd also receiving recognition. Melbourne director Peter Carlos won the major prize for his short film After Silence. Organisers plan to come back next year, hopefully with a bit better weather. Patrick Ryankey, Southern Cross News.
The festive season has kicked off in Broken Hill, with the city holding its annual Christmas pageant on the weekend. A convoy of over 50 floats rolled through the city centre on Saturday, one of the biggest lineups in recent years. Many local groups got in on the fun, including classic car collectors, the local gymnastics club and plenty of the city's schools. All eyes were soon on the big jolly man from the North Pole though, Father Christmas, swapping the snow and ice of the Arctic for the dusty heat of the outback. Meanwhile, the Whaler pageant, which was postponed due to bad weather, has a new date. Council and the Apex Society have decided it will go ahead this Sunday, December 9 at 5 p.m. The pageant fair will also take place afterwards in Ada Ryan Gardens. Apex's Damien Trenwith says while the cancellation was disappointing, he's pleased the event will go ahead after all.
And we're really looking forward to seeing the big fella, the San of a day, a guy of a day, come to town, and I'm sure we'll be some very excited people to see him.
Traffic restrictions around the Gardens and City Plaza will also be in place, and for more details, head to the Whaler Council website. Port Augusta's Army Warra Media have once again proved their place among the industry's best, with CEO Vince Coulthard recognised as an outstanding contributor at the First Nations Media Awards.
Vince Coulthard attended the First Nations Media Awards in support of colleague Dre Ngātakarua, who was nominated for 2 awards. Little did Vince know, he was in line to receive one of the night's highest honours.
Well, it surprised me a bit, but it's an outstanding contributor.
The award recognises Vince's 25 years of service to the Indigenous media landscape.
Particularly the founders of these radio stations and the main contributors in developing it should be acknowledged.
Since he began working for the radio station, he has seen Amiwara rise from a 20-minute segment on the ABC to become the second Indigenous broadcaster in the entire country. And the latest awards night saw one of the hosts, Dre, nominated in the same category as industry leaders NITV and Koori Mail. Unfortunately, he didn't take home any gongs.
He's only been with us for 2 years, and he's already competing against the big guns.
Fresh off a launch of the radio station's online streaming service, Amiwara is hoping to extend their reach across Australia.
We all do our bit to be able to keep our listening audience informed, well informed, and we certainly like to keep it that way.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
With the end of November came the end of Movember, and that saw the removal of some very impressive Port Lincoln facial hair. For Mark Butterworth from the town's local beer garden, where one of their beers is aptly named Captain Redbeard, it was a bittersweet moment. But there was a bit of preparation done before the big shave.
Dosed about 3/4 of a can of hairspray in the beard, so she's pretty solid. And hopefully it'll come off in one piece and earn a place on the wall of the brewery.
Some careful techniques meant the red beard did come off in one piece, with friends and family claiming it also shaved off a few years. But it was all for a good cause, with more than $1,200 being raised for the Movember Foundation. Good on you, Mark. Well, stay with us after the break. We'll have all your local cricket results, and in the weather, summer is here and we're in for some scorching conditions to end the week, with some centres nudging 40 degrees. I'll have all the local weather details soon. To local cricket now, and there were some high-scoring games in the Port Lincoln League at the weekend. Casey Treloar joins us now. And Casey, Tasman's had a huge win over Charlton.
Yes, that's right, Abby. The smaller grounds here at Paul Oval allowed Tasmans to find the boundary plenty of times and to score well over 200 runs. Strong winds made for difficult conditions, but Tasman's Jack Bunder had no problem adjusting, notching up an impressive 68. Despite Charlton's Raymond Willis claiming 4 wickets, Tasman still posted a huge target of 219. Charlton fought gallantly, but Tasman's bowling attack was far too strong, Charlton only managing to score 81. Tasman now have their third win of the season and still comfortably hold fourth spot on the ladder. Another high-scoring game saw Southern Air flex their muscle against Lincoln South. Well done to Ben Smith and Roger Puckridge, who both scored half-centuries. In the final game of the round, Todd River did just enough to get over Wayback, getting home by just 6 runs. To Broken Hill and North easily accounted for Central, while South were too good for West. Down to Port Pirie, and it was a low-scoring game between South and Props, with Props having no problem getting the win there. The second game was a top-of-the-table clash between Wandera and Solly North. Wandera caused the upset, winning by 119 runs. Across to Whyalla, and North couldn't quite chase Rapina's target of 178. That was the only game in the Steel City for the weekend, with the match between South and Central being washed out. Unfortunately for Port Augusta, both games were called due to rain. So Abby, despite some lacklustre weather, there were still some great games of local cricket. And I'll be back tomorrow night to wrap up all the other sports from around the regions.
Thanks, Casey. And now it's time to take a look at what's happening in the weather. But first, thanks to Alan for sending in this beautiful sunrise pic taken at the Whyalla foreshore this morning. What a cracker. We saw a mix of sunshine and cloud for the first Monday of summer. Port Augusta reached a top of 27 degrees. Port Lincoln and Broken Hill 28, the max today. On the satellite, bands of cloud over SA with a low pressure trough is triggering some showers and thunderstorms, some intense. Low cloud over the southwest in the wake of a cold front is bringing the odd shower, but skies are mostly clear elsewhere. On the waters for your Tuesday, we'll see southeasterly shifting southwesterly winds up to 15 knots, seas at a metre with a southwesterly swell, and the sun will pop up just after 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. A cracking summer's day in store for all centres tomorrow. Lovely sunny skies forecast. Port Augusta, Corn, Broken Hill and Port Pirie all warming up into the 30s, while temps will be in the mid to high 20s everywhere else. Looking like gorgeous conditions for the rest of the week, but it's definitely going to feel more like summer. Getting hot on Wednesday, Woodna a scorching 38 the top, even warmer on Thursday. Port Lincoln reaching 35, Cleve reaching a sweltering 39, cooling down to 29 for Port Lincoln on Friday. Sunny skies and scorching conditions to end the week here too. Port Augusta 38 on Wednesday and 40 degrees on Thursday, so stay cool. Whyalla 39 the top on Thursday, and it's going to be hot on Friday too. Kadina 35 the top. A similar story here, sunshine and sweltering temps for Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Port Pirie reaching a max of 39 on Thursday. That'll be the hottest day this week, and Clare and Broken Hill reaching a max of 37 on Thursday. So summer is certainly here, and that's all from the team this Monday. I'm Abby Donaldson. Thanks for your company. We'll see you soon.